Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about my NGS headline predictions because the NGS headline is scheduled to air in 7 days. So the very first thing I want to go over is, of course, where can you actually watch the NGS headline, and it will be on YouTube, as you can see here, live in 7 days on May 27th, 8 p.m. my time. However, if you do live in America, it will be May 27th at 5 a.m. PDT. So super duper early for you guys. The very first thing I like to do is, of course, go to the description over here, and unfortunately it really doesn't say anything. They're getting more and more vague to kind of temper people's expectations. But nevertheless, let's take a quick look at it. So as we can see here, Yui Hasegawa will be the host of the program, RIP Hero Ara, and this program informs players about the present and future of NGS, including upcoming campaigns, update information, messages from the dev team, a response to questions from players, and peripheral information. That's Headline Wave in a nutshell. This time we've got update information and videos showing what's ahead for the PSO2 NGS version 2 in June, including information on new collabs. So this time they use collabs in plural, so I'm definitely pretty curious on seeing what the new collaborations are going to be. As I said before, I am hoping for Gundam. Overwatch 2 got Gundam. Overwatch 2 actually got Street Fighter recently as well. So you know, if we get either of those, that would be really awesome, but obviously I am leaning more towards Gundam because I'm sure a lot of cast players would really appreciate a Gundam collaboration. In addition, we'll be sharing a sneak peek of our summer 2025 update. Plus, in the Operation Report segment, the program will deliver a message from the dev team and provide answers to players' comments and questions. So pretty much the same thing as usual. However, the only new thing is, of course, they said collabs in plural. So I am pretty curious to see if we're actually going to get two different collaborations, or is this just a typo as usual? But now it's time to look at the roadmap because this pretty much gives us all the information that we need. As we can see here, we are moving into the month of June. And so in the month of June to July, there's actually no events at all. You know, usually every month there are events. I'm very surprised that there's like nothing here. Especially since June and July is 2 months, you know. Usually they would slot in a seasonal event in July. However, then again, they have put like a huge asterisk over here. You know, everything is subject to change. So they might announce a seasonal event in the July headline. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised that there's nothing here. Now, as for the quest, we are getting a field update. I'm kind of curious on what the heck a field update is. Usually when they say it's a field update, it means like a brand new map. So the last field update we got was Lucille Exploration or Nameless City. It was one of those two. I don't really remember which one it was, but nevertheless, it was a whole new map, you know, quote unquote map. It wasn't an actual new region like Alio, Ritem, Kovaris, or Stia. It was just kind of like a new area that just existed. So I do hope that, you know, they surprise us with something a little bit more interesting with this field update. We're getting more limited time quest ×3 with same drill, guys. Nothing to be excited about that. Limited time urgent quest, again, nothing to be excited about. Ultra high difficulty standing party quest. We already know that this is the 4-player Dark Falls Vial fight. This is something to get excited for because for my endgame players or my veteran players, we finally get content catered to us. I swear every year we get maybe like 4 pieces of content that is catered to veteran players. Everything else has been centered around returning or new players. Now, something they didn't mention over here is, of course, the enhancement cap increase to +100, as well as the 8th augment slot being introduced to all of our gear. So you know, that's going to be something that we will see on the live stream. For those who are wondering where I got this source, it was actually mentioned in the previous NGS headline. They did talk about this in the developer letter, and that's how we know that, hey, we are getting enhancement level cap increase as well as 8 augment slots starting in June. Now, something that has gotten me pretty interested is, of course, new enemies in the combat section. We're gonna have to see what these new enemies are. I really hope they don't just say like, oh yeah, you can now fight starless enemies in exploration zones or something. Like that would be a really big downer. I am hoping it has something to do with veterans, because we need a sustainable way to farm for Dreadkeeper 5s, Grand Dreadkeeper 1s, Grand Dreadkeeper 2s. That is something that we definitely need, because right now if you're trying to farm for Dreadkeeper 5s, it's actually a pain in the butt, and it's very, very difficult to obtain those consistently. So I do hope that the new enemies have something to do with Dread enemies. Now as for the collaboration scratch tickets, they do state 2 of them over here. First one is a Sega title collaboration, and the second one is collab with Sci-Fi Fantasy toy line. So now it makes sense that it says collaborations in the description, because they're probably gonna hint both of these collabs and be like, hey guys, get excited, pull your wallets out, get ready to spend money. But nevertheless, I am pretty excited for the month of June, simply because there's finally stuff to upgrade, there's things to do, things to gear up. There's a reason to play the game again for veteran players who have already min-maxed everything, because we're going to be enhancing everything to plus 100, 8 augment slots, even more potency, even more gear, going to be farming for more stuff, and potentially with the introduction of the ultra high difficulty standing party quest, I hope Sega doesn't drop the ball here and they actually introduce the new rarity of weapons with the 4-man Dark Falls Vial. Now to answer the question a lot of people have been asking me, and I don't blame you guys, and that is, when are we getting new story? And as you can see here, it's August and onward is when we get the story update. A little bit unfortunate that we have to wait that long, but yeah. So unfortunately, this NGS headline, we're not going to get anything. The next NGS headline, we're also not going to get anything. And then on August onward, they don't really specify that it's actually happening in August, but they did write over here that we will get a story update. So if you were hoping for a story update soon, unfortunately, that will not happen. We're going to have to wait at least 3 months before we get a story update.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.